Something that's happened that has dramatically changed dating markets, especially over the past 40, 50 years. Red pillars will tell you that it's dating apps and Instagram. Is not true. The thing that's made it so difficult is that, and this is something that I think is a myth. Red pillars will fight me. This is how difficult it is. This seems like a reality that's hard to get away from. I don't know what the answer is to. I don't know what the answer is to this. This is hard. Women are 100% at fault for how the dating market is today, and men are 100% at fault for how the dating market is today. SNEAKO, you are a literal model. You've got riz, charisma, you're funny, you're confident. You don't think you can you guys are insane.
They see themselves as dating the kind of girl that Andrew Tate dates. They aren't trying to date the average next door neighbor kind of girl. So
Destiny, do you acknowledge that 90% of the women who like you for your money and clout only, and they actually find you ugly? Nobody thinks their average modern dating has become delusional. Yeah, I addressed this. I think I cracked the code on this. I think I cracked the code. I feel like I figured it all out. Only descriptively, right? I think I understand, but I don't know what to tell people. Okay. Okay. Are you ready? You're about to get the ultimate, the omni pill on dating and everything, okay? I think this is what's happening. Okay. Here we go. All right. Broadly speaking, I might change my mind on all of this in 1 week, by the way, but broadly speaking, we've got like masculine things, Vine boom, and we've got like feminine things, okay? Vine boom. I think that something that's happened that has dramatically changed dating markets, especially over the past 40, 50 years, it's one thing that has made it very, very difficult for men. Red pillars will tell you that it's dating apps and Instagram. Is not true, and it's so fucking stupid, okay? The thing that's made it so difficult is that women have birth control and women work, all right? Now, I've said these things before, but I'm tying it all together more now, okay? I'm developing the cohesive thought pattern that ties all these concepts together is starting to materialize in my brain, okay? Something that's happened in the past, like 30, 40, 50 years, is women have done a really good job at evolving to the new world. And one of the things they've done is, so they've got like their whole feminine trait side of things, right? They are emotionally communicative, they are supportive, they can do all the things that women do, but they also work as well. They work and they earn their own money. And something that's been really difficult for men is that in the past, if you're a man, the only thing that you can really do the only you needed to do to win a woman was to have a job because they can't work, right? So you get a job, you get a woman. So the confusing thing that is hurting, I think the thing that's f***ing young men up today more than ever, and it's why the red pill just runs off in totally the wrong direction, is women have been feminine and they've like evolved into this omni thing that has like all of these feminine traits and all of these masculine traits, and they've leveled up to where we're women, we do these things, but we also work. We do all the shit that you guys used to do more or less as well. And men are like, okay, well, I'm masculine, but they're not willing to explore that feminine side for them to level up. So the issues you run into are when men are looking for advice, right? How did women adapt to the new world? It wasn't by becoming the most feminine and more feminine versions of themselves and blah, 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 blah. It was by expanding the capabilities of what they could do, by embracing the masculine side, I guess, of things, if you will, and then growing into that. But when men are looking for advice on things, it's red pillars saying you need to be more masculine, you need to be more masculine, you need to be more masculine, you need to be more masculine. But what does that mean for most people? Like what, like earning a paycheck and getting more money? Unless you're going to be out there earning at least $250,000 a year, you're never going to be so masculine that like you're going to be attracting women with a paycheck anymore. You can't do it, right? And it seems like red pillars are unwilling to tell men to flesh themselves out more. So here's ultimately kind of how I settled on this, because I've talked to like 3 other women in the past like 2 weeks that I've noticed. I run into this trend of like seeing women that are really attractive but single and a little older, and I'm trying to figure out like, why are you still single, whatever. And then this clicked for me. Okay, what is the value proposition for men joining a relationship? Like from the woman's side, sex. Okay, they want sex and maybe a cook, clean person, I guess, but men really desperately want sex. What is the value proposition for women entering a relationship from the male side? And I think that, and when I settled on this thought process, it immediately tied back into all the things I think about when it comes to small businesses or streamers. People will message me, and people will ask me, Destiny, I want to be a big streamer. Like, can you give me advice? And the number one piece of advice I always give is immediately I say, what can you offer that nobody else can? And if you don't have an immediate response to that, then quit. You're not going to do it. Because if you're like, well, I kind of no. You need to tell me, are you really athletic? Are you good at a particular game? Are you really funny? Do you have if you don't have something, then what are you even doing at it, right? And I think that when it comes to relationships, and now I'm generalizing here, I could be wrong, but I'm generalizing, it feels like the average guy doesn't have much to offer to the average woman. And when red pillars talk to you, the only thing that the average guy can offer, that red pillars are saying, are things that guys think matter, but don't actually matter at all. Like they say things like, and I see it even popping in YouTube chat, protection. Protection? Ninja, you ain't Batman. What do you mean protection? You're not about to go out. Also, realistically, how many times in a woman's life does she need somebody to protect? She calls the cops, right? And I started to think more about like movies and stuff. Like, okay, because then I started to think like role models. Well, what does a man do to like become something great in a movie or whatever? And then I think, well, what are like some of the most like male-driven movies, right? Like superhero movies. Well, okay, so in order to become like fully fleshed out and good as a man, to be attracted to women, I need to save the world? Like literally? Like what percentage of men are aspiring to be like Batman or Spider-Man or Superman or Iron Man, right? That's not very realistic. And then I think of, it's harder to think of like women movies. I guess like rom-coms and stuff like that, or movies that more, because it seems like their struggles in women-driven movies, and I could be wrong. I need to go and collect more like recent movies on this, but it feels like a woman's struggle in a woman's movie is generally more grounded. Like, oh, like I need to get over myself. I need to stop obsessing over an ex. I need to like figure some shit out of my life. It's things that like women in most of their lives can do. Like most women can follow like the plot of like a woman-driven movie and be like, okay, these are changes I can implement in my life. Whereas for men, it's like, okay, I need to kill the crime lord, like kingpin boss of Gotham, and that's how I'm going to become like my thing, you know? And I think that's a problem, yeah. But, yeah, I feel like I think broadly speaking, I think that's the issue. I think that if you're an average guy, you have to think like, well, what does a woman get from dating me? And if you don't have an answer for that, then like, well, what the like, why the did any woman date you? And the red pill answer of like, be more masculine, go to the gym, do whatever, like most women aren't going to give that much of a shit about most of this. Because another thing I thought about was, and this is something that I think is a myth. Red pillars will fight me. I don't know how we would collect data on this. I don't believe that there are all of these like super good men, have their shit together, are like funny, witty, charming, work an okay job or whatever, that are single. I don't think that happens. I think that is a very, very slim minority of men. And I think when those men do show up, I think that they're swarming in women. Because the bar for men is so low, and men just haven't, whether it's, I'm not like blaming every individual man, like societally speaking, it seems like we have a hard time equipping men to offer something of value in a relationship beyond a paycheck. I think is, yeah. So be able to juggle. What do you think women even want nowadays? I think they want like a partner that is like fun to be around, makes them feel good, drives them, inspires them, like does things, like somebody that like adds something fun to your life. Now, different people are going to look for different things, but it has to be more than a paycheck, and it can't just be masculinity. Because I think that something that is deceiving you is a lot of you guys think masculinity is the answer, but you're looking at men that are top 1%ers. And it's not their masculinity that's getting women, it's their charisma, it's their wealth, it's their social status, it's their accomplishments and achievements. It's things that are putting them way beyond that 1%. It's not just that they're masculine, it's all the other shit going on. And they're saying, well, I got all these women because I'm masculine. No, they don't. That's not because they're fucking masculine. Peel away every other impressive thing about them. And I don't know. That's... The problem is that you are fighting anecdotal evidence with more anecdotal evidence. I mean, at the end of the day, all of it is a little bit anecdotal. Like, I'll admit that for sure. At least I'm willing to admit it. But I don't think that I've talked to a lot of women. I fucked a lot of women. I've been through a lot of stuff. To be fair, I select for certain types of people. But this is the most common complaint when I talk to women. Here's my issue. Because I talk to a lot of women that are sometimes single, and they'll be like in their mid to late 20s, and they'll be super hot. Like, you're super hot. Like 95% of men will without even a second thought. They're smart, they're funny, they're fun to be around. I'm like, how the f are you single? And I feel like I hear a lot of the same types of complaints from those women that like, well, I've met some men and they're nice, but a lot of them are like kind of boring. They're like kind of in London, I heard the term, they're lads or blokes. They just like watch football with their friends, but they don't like offer much in terms of like a relationship. Like, what do I get out of being in a relationship? And remember, the key difference between men and women don't need to date for. So if a woman just wants to she doesn't have to date a guy. She can just somebody. It's super easy. That's not a thing. You can't have like, okay, well, I'll give you really good sex if we date. Like, okay, she can get sex from a million fucking guys in a heartbeat without even downloading a program on her phone. Okay, she probably for family. Okay, that's the state of men today. So it has to be something, you have to have more of a value proposition to a woman than just like, well, we can have sex if we date. Because just because you care about that doesn't mean that she does. But that's where I'm at, so suddenly every guy has to be a comedian. So here's the issue, right? And this is why, and it's so funny, it's so interesting to see the two sides of the same coin. Because I'll see on one end, like you guys are like ultra empowering, like, yeah, nobody's gonna make excuses for you. You're the only one that's gonna care about you. You gotta take care of your own life. You need to hit the gym, you need to do that. You need to hit the gym, you need to get your money up, you need to do all that. And when you're being told that over and over again and berated and abused, like, yeah, you're right, I need to do that. Fuck, you're right, yeah, I need to do that. But then as soon as someone tells you like, bro, you need to be emotionally available. You need to be like pretty witty. You need to be pretty charismatic. Oh, so now I have to do everything? Now I have to do, you're telling me I have to do all this fucking work? Like, okay, hold on. And this is, I don't know if I said this on stream or if this was a personal conversation that I had. I noticed this thing too. All of the advice you get from red pillars, it's not actually tough love. And it's not actually advice. It's actually like masturbatory power fantasy fulfillment, right? Somebody telling you like, hey, you need to do this thing that you don't really want to do, but if you want to level up as a person, you got to do it. That's hard advice to hear. Red pillars don't tell you that. They play into this masturbatory fantasy of like, listen, bro, you got to get your money up because all of us are millionaires on the inside. You got to go to the gym because we can all be shredded fucking monsters. And it's like, it comes on a very shallow level. You feel like you're getting like, yeah, you're giving me the tough love that I need to hear, but not really. You want to hear that. You want somebody to tell you that. You want somebody to tell you to go to the gym and get shredded, and that if you become a fucking monster, you can go to villages and capture all these women, they'll love you. But you want to hear that. You're not actually like taking tough love or tough advice at all. Because as soon as somebody tells you to actually level up your personality, here come all the excuses. Oh, she's on Instagram getting flown out by guys in Dubai. I can't compete with that. What am I supposed to do? Blah, 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 blah. Like, bro, like you're more likely to become a little bit funny than to come out of the gym, with a 285 bench and pulling 4 plate. You're not like, you only hear the advice you want to hear because it makes you feel good about yourself. I noticed that with the red pill shit. All of the advice because even for the red pill advice, when you follow it more, right? Like, they don't even give you the real advice. Like, okay, you need to up your money, right? What do you need to do to up your money? You need to study hard, get decent grades, get a good degree, and then go get a job. But they don't even tell you that. How do you up your money? You need to learn drop shipping. You need to start read white papers on crypto, and then I guess invest the extra in real estate, whatever the that means, right? You're not even getting real like money advice. you're getting meme shit. Yeah, but. Do you think wittiness or charisma is something you can dramatically improve upon after a certain age? So this is like the this is the really, really, really challenging part. Okay, and this is where, and I'm trying to think. I have to think of like how to. I might reread that How to Win Friends and Influence People book because it's been like literally 26 years since I read it. I don't know, maybe not that. But I feel like turning around your personality is really, really, really hard after a certain age. And the problem, here's the problem, okay? This is how difficult it is to turn around your personality, okay? This is how difficult it is. At age 0, you're just developing it, and then it becomes harder and harder and harder to change your personality. And here's the problem. Here's the opportunities that you have to practice changing your personality around women. It like does this. So like, think about you when you're 8, 9, 10 years old, okay? When you're 8, 9, 10 years old, you're in school, there's a ton of women and a ton of people around you. You've got so much opportunity to change and mold and learn and figure out your personality, right? Like, you get a little farther along, you get to high school and college, people are in cliques now. It's not boy, girl in classrooms and you're all partnered up. So there's like kind of cliques and groups and shit, but at least you still got like women around you and stuff, right? Your personality is a little bit more set. And then you hit these points where like, okay, now you're 30 years old, now you're working, you've got a job in computer science. Even if there are women working, they all work in the front. You don't see any of them ever. You have no women to practice any social skills on. Your personality is a lot more ingrained at this point. Even the games that you play are like 95% men. And you're getting progressively more down these curves. This seems like a reality that's hard to get away from. I don't know what the answer is to. I don't know what the answer is to this. This is hard. Is this talking specifically about people who are working and not in uni? Yes, you dumb fuck. If you're in university, you still have opportunity to meet a lot of girls, but yeah. It's hard to change your overall personality as you get older, but most people could easily improve their likability. Yeah, another thing, and this is something I started thinking about a lot over the past few months, because I tried to think, because I can talk to a ton of women. I'm usually super fine with women. I don't have any anxiety at all. And I try to think about like, well, I wonder what, because I went to an all-boys high school, so I didn't even have female classmates. So I don't know like how I picked that up, but I remember when I was like 15, 16, like my whole friend groups were like almost all women, because the girl that I dated, the women that I dated were all in the same friend group, and I was always going after school to hang out with them at the, it's called Marion High School in Omaha. It was an all-girls high school, so I'd always, she would pick me up from school because I didn't have money for a car, and then she would drive me, and then I would just hang out with her and her 4 or 5 friends that were all girls, and I would hang out with them all day. And so I think that for me at a really, really early age, humble brag harder. It's not a humble brag, you retarded It's just facts. At an early age, I was lucky enough that I got to socialize with a ton of women, and so then for me, it's like not a big deal. I don't think about it. But if I had gotten to college, because my hobbies were all very male driven. I was very nerdy. I played and when I say nerdy, a lot of you guys don't know this, okay? Because you guys are all like 22. Back in my day, being a nerd meant you were a fucking loser. It's not like today where nerds are cool and everybody wants to fuck Bezos and Zuckerberg. Back in my day, if you were a nerd, it was like pussy repellent, okay? You were kryptonite as soon as you started talking about some of the games you played, okay? Girls weren't like, oh, I love Smash and Pikachu, and they were like, oh, Pokemon, you must not shower, right? That's what it was like back in my day, okay? So I played games in an era when women didn't like them. There were almost no women involved in the hobby, any of that shit. And it was a way different scene, but I was lucky enough. But if I hadn't had been socialized around like groups of women, if I hadn't had been in that area, by the time I hit college, I was working 60 hours a week, school full time. I didn't have time to like talk to women. I didn't have very many women friend groups in college. I had women friend groups when I was working, but I don't know what I would have done to turn my life around socially at that point. Like if I hit 22, 23 and I hadn't like had friend groups or women, I think I would just be fucked. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. So I don't know what the answer is, other than like adult school, where you like force like, okay, we're 30 years old for 1 year. All of you guys are going to be thrown together in classrooms again. You're going to learn to talk to each other. Yeah, it seems really, really, really difficult. It seems really, really, really difficult. Yeah. Legit, one of the best things to happen to me was working front end retail for a few years. You're forced to be around women the majority of time just because most of front end is women. It's pretty shit at socializing. I would be so much worse without that. Yeah, for sure. Don't listen to Destiny's Takes. He's just encouraging you to do nothing to be a coomer. I'm not encouraging you to do nothing. I'm telling you, like, socialize with women. You have to find ways to socialize. I just don't know how to do it. But you have to socialize with women. You got to find a way to do it. I don't know how yet. But I'm telling you that the red pill way of be more masculine and embrace your masculine and all that shit, nobody gives a fuck, bro. You're not going to get women with that. You're going to get poor women that are trying to escape their moms and dads. That shit is not the answer. There's just no way. There's no shot. Hey, Destiny, how much of the breakdown in intersexual communication is women's fault rather than men? I am firmly in the camp that if you're blaming men or blaming women, that you're not actually looking to up or improve anything. You're just trying to like farm content off of incel like you online. That's it. And it's not, or maybe that's just my mentality. I don't care. I'm not trying to like blame women or blame men. I don't care. Like just look at the situation. What is it? And then try to like navigate from there. The reality is women are 100% at fault for how the dating market is today, and men are 100% at fault for how the dating market is today. Everything that exists in society is a dynamic that we play off of each other. Women do stupid things, often because men did stupid things, often because women did stupid things, because men did dumb things, because women did dumb things, because men did dumb things. Like that's how all of it works. Like we all play off of each other, and that's like how society has moved forward since the dawn of time. So if you're ever trying to like levy the blame or squarely, shouldered on one party, you're probably missing some part of the bigger picture. And that's usually the issue, is that if you're blaming one gender, you're an idiot because you're probably missing something that you or your gender is doing. That's the problem. It's like when we got into that argument of freshman, like, oh, women play games. They do. A lot of women play a lot of stupid games. But why? Because men play games too, right? And why do men play games? Sometimes men play games because maybe women suck at communicating, because women don't communicate what they want exactly, right? Like maybe if women were just like, hey, listen, I don't have to play this hard to get or whatever shit, I'm just gonna be upfront and honest with you, then maybe men would be like, oh, okay, cool. Like, let's just be upfront and honest. But then the problem is sometimes when women are upfront and honest, men get super in their feelings and they don't like that, right? It's very scary to tell a guy like, hey, I just didn't feel it this date, I don't wanna see you again, because sometimes those men go crazy, right? So there's always like this back and forth, and sometimes men go crazy because they feel like women aren't being honest about what they want. So when a woman says she wants something, then the guy does it, and then she doesn't like it anyway, right? That's what I'm saying. All of it goes back and forth, and it plays off each other. And if you want to have a good understanding of like how dating works and sex works and women and men work, you have to understand that all of these things are emotions that are bouncing off of each other. Nothing is created in a vacuum. There is no creation of like women are doing this because and they hate men and blah blah blah, or men are doing this because they're all toxic, horrible. But at the end of the day, we all just want to hug each other, love each other, probably other and be cool. But it's just, there's a lot of weird social shit that gets in the way of that. Have you tried talking to or finding these single guys who have their shit together but are still single? I have to try more on those guys. I need to reach out and find more of them. Here is something that I've seen. I've only seen this twice, so I could be wrong. Here's something that's really weird to me is I've seen, so one of these is another friend, and one of these was Melina's DMs. I have watched guys fumble the bag in the most unbelievable way. So Melina, I remember one day, Melina came home. She hung out with a ton of people, ton of guys, tons of girls. She had fun. There was one guy that she gave her number to, and she came back and she was chatting, and she had only good things to say. She's like, oh yeah, we all went out, we played volleyball. The dude's really hot, he's cool, blah blah blah. And that's cool, and it seemed fine. And then they texted a little bit, and the next day, okay, she didn't respond to his messages like in the morning. And over the course of like 8 hours, he had sent like 6 messages saying like, oh, did I do something wrong? What's wrong? Blah, 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 blah. And she just hadn't gotten to her phone. And then she's like, yeah, I don't know. Like this guy's like super clingy. And it's like, why the fuck are you doing this? Like, and I have like a behind the curtains look because obviously she's my wife. We're chatting about it or whatever. And I'm like, bro, how did you completely throw this the fuck away in like 8 hours? What? And I've seen another guy, these are just teams I've seen. I've heard tons of those, but in terms of seen, I had another friend show me the same thing where she's like, oh yeah, like I went out with this guy. He was like super funny, cool. We had a good date or whatever. And that night he was pushing me so much for responses, even though we got along great and everything's fine, that like it flipped so hardcore. And it was like, holy shit, chill. What the fuck? And so that makes me wonder, and again, I'll reiterate for the 50 millionth time, even though, especially for the incel fucking losers out there, you're not gonna hear me when I qualify this, but I will. I've only seen limited DMs. Maybe it's not like this with everybody, but I wonder if there are a lot of guys who are good on paper, but they just do dumb shit and they fuck it up over and over and over again. I wonder if that's the case. Because I've also seen a lot of pictures, and I've seen this pop up on my subreddit too, where like, and I've talked about this a lot, where guys will post pictures where it's just like, I'm just not attractive enough to ever get a woman. I can't. And it's like, bro, you are hella cute. What is wrong with you? It'll be a guy posting who's like 6'2", looks good, hair is fucking nice, he dresses decently, and it's like, you think you can't get a woman because of the way you look? You're fucking delusional, man. Oh, when I was on that show with Myron and fucking SNEAKO, you were a literal model, and you're telling me that it's not easy for you to fuck girls? You're an actual like 9.5 out of 10. You're an actual model. You've got charisma, you're funny, you're confident. You don't think you can You guys are insane.
Think about bad advice to men to tell them to say, wanna fuck?
It's not, no, it's not advice to normal men. It's advice to clouded guys, which is what you guys talk about 90% of the time.
That's never worked. I've never said wanna fuck and then some.
Do you want to bet right now that you couldn't go into your Instagram DMs? I know you could find at least 5 girls. Fuck? Yeah, and a girl's hitting you up and you're like, hey, do you want to have a hookup? There are girls on this panel that you could fuck tonight. Destiny. With little to no effort. And say it's a casual one-time thing.
Destiny. Easy.
Dude, if I was in SNEAKO or Myron's body, I would be 7 girls a week, okay? For the rest of my life, okay? I would just walk outside and one would be hanging off of my body if I looked as good as either of those 2 dudes. Yeah, I don't know, man. Shit's hard. People are crazy. People are crazy. Destiny, you're making excuses for the women. Say, take it how you want, and you can be like a lonely virgin your whole life. I don't care, dude. It's more women for me, okay? Knock yourself out. The only reason Destiny thinks the gym won't help is because he ain't shredded. I don't know what to say. Listen, dude, if you think getting shredded is gonna help you get women, go for it. Knock yourself out. Here's the reality is that, like, there's a norm for guys to sit in that is very wide. If you're very fat, if you're obese, or you're like very overweight, or you have really bad proportions, then yeah, going to the gym can help, of course. I already can see there's some dumb fuck on my subreddit who's like, actually, Destiny, I weighed 450 pounds, and when I lost weight, and now I weigh 180, I get way more attention. Yeah, no shit, you fat fucking dump truck. Yeah, obviously, that's gonna help. But for the most part, if you're like an average proportion dude, getting shredded can help like a little bit of initial attention. But again, being shredded does not make you good at a relationship. Okay, it only makes you somewhat attractive, maybe to fuck. You have to think of the value proposition on the woman's side. What do you bring to the table when it comes to a relationship? What are you offering, right? And you can't give the red pill meme answers because women don't give a fuck about that. When you say, well, I offer protection. Bro, she can call the fucking cops. She doesn't need you for fucking protection. No women gets a man for protection. That's a myth that red pillers sell you, okay? Women aren't thinking like, oh God, I heard some guys outside, I'm gonna sick my man on him. Like, unless you live in the fucking ghetto, maybe people in the O block choose girlfriends like this, okay? But like this shit is like power fantasy stuff that just isn't real, okay? Andrew takes carry a sword. If a woman tells you blah blah blah, I take out my sword and I tell her, like, bro, that's not gonna hold a relationship together. Jesus. But anyway, smoke weed every day. Yeah. Destiny, their instincts look for protection. It's not making them okay, here's a rule, my dude, okay? If you want to learn instincts of men or women, then what you need to do is you need to spend time with men or women. I'm telling you, I'm so sorry, but like the intelligence that you're gathering, okay, the intelligence around evolutionary psychology is not going to serve you in the real world. And for anybody that knows how to talk to women and fucks women, they will tell you that, okay? It is not true that being a protector, blah, blah, blah. The problem is for a lot of this stuff, you're using what you think you want to see because that's like the sexy fun thing for you. It's actually just, spoiler alert, it's just a proxy for confidence. A lot of things that men think women want end up just being proxies for confidence. I want a man that can protect me. Well, like, what do you when you think a woman wants somebody to protect you? Like, what do you think of? What a woman probably sees is a guy that carries himself well, speaks very confidently, isn't like nervous or jittery, right? That's what she's a guy that's really confident. Now, can that guy be a protector? Yeah, I guess. But like, I don't even think at the base brain stuff. It's like, oh, that guy can protect me. She's like, oh, this guy's confident. I want to be around him. People like to be around confident people. Yeah, women like bad boys and assholes and drug dealers. Well, what do a lot of bad boys and assholes and drug dealers? They're usually really confident. A lot of it is a proxy for confidence. Focus on stuff like that rather than like the Evo psych shit is just so fucking cringe. It's so cringe, okay? It's so cringe. Me when I hit 225 on the bench. Destiny, the only way to be confident is by accomplishing something, aka ending some money, going to gym, or other things. That's just not true, though. How many men do you know that are like, man, I've earned $1 million, now I'm super confident? Like, I don't think it works that way, right? The first day you set foot in the gym is the day you realize that you were forever small, right? You chase your pump. How many guys are like, oh, I benched 225, I'm good now. Like, I feel good. Like, and now let me be clear. Let me qualify this, okay? Self-improvement can be good if you're self-improving to self-improve. But if you're going to the gym to become confident enough to get girls, I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it works that way. Because what you're going to do is you're going to go to the gym, you're going to lift, you're going to get bigger, and you hope that the confidence just happens, but it doesn't work that way. You can't get things or do things to become confident. It has to be like this internal drive, this internal struggle or decision to do things, to be confident as a person. Because if you're a guy that only feels confident at 12% body fat, you're not a guy that's actually confident, right? It's like people that say they have really high self-esteem as long as like all of their friends are supporting them. It's like, that's not self-esteem. You just have a really good support group. How are we supposed to get confidence in? I don't know. That's another problem. It's like the socialization thing, because I feel like it's something that develops really, really, really early in life. I wish I had better answers for you. I'm not sure. I mean, like I can talk through a lot of things, but I don't know how many of those things actually help you develop it or not. But I think the gym can make you more confident, not that you have a great body or hit some number, but because you can prove to yourself that you're capable of setting and achieving goals. Yeah, I agree with that. That's what I'm saying. That, like, there are certain things that you can do for self-improvement as long as but the goal has to be self-improvement. I don't think it can be vanity. I think if you chase numbers in a vain approach, when you hit those numbers, I don't think it's going to actually make you feel better about yourself. That's my feeling on that. But and explain getting space science for. You got to be a confident man. High value men are the ones that finish space exploration. You don't get to space science without being a high value man, right? That's why it's easy to go up to a girl and she's like, oh, well, who the fuck are you? And I'd be like, who am I? I've automated Deep Space Science 4. And it's over at that point. The only question then is, are we going to Uber a taxi back to my place before the panties come off? It's over at that point. Because like, if you already have Deep Space Science 4, I already know you're confident. You're probably really wealthy. You've probably already banged a ton of chicks. Probably good at, like, they already know all these things about you. Absolutely true. Do you think if you miss the window to develop a personality, you should rather just learn to be okay being alone? No, that sounds super depressing. I don't think you should ever be okay with being alone. I think that humans are built to be social creatures, and I think we probably want to be with like a partner. We want to be with other people. But again, remember, it has to be more than that, because desperation is the antithesis to confidence. I don't know what it is, and I don't know how, okay? I'm a very confident person, and I can convey that to somebody almost immediately, okay? Like, you'll know in talking to me in like 30 seconds, like, this is a confident person. Because confidence is conveyed immediately. I don't know how it is, but it is. And on the flip side of that, clinginess is also conveyed almost immediately. And it is horrible. You cannot do that. If you're a guy and you're looking for a relationship because you need to be in a relationship, I think it's like what is it, a catch-22? It just won't happen. It's like relationships are, no, it's like the Sorcerer's Stone in Harry Potter. Remember, it only shows up in the pocket of the person not wanting to use it. You can't just tell people be confident. I never told anyone just be confident. You illiterate fucking moron. Get the fuck out forever, you fucking retard. If you can't hear, if your ears aren't working, why would you watch a stream where I'm communicating via, why are you even listening to a stream if I'm talking? Wait for the text version to come in if you can't hear what I'm saying. I can't just say be confident. If it was that easy, then everybody would just be confident, you fucking moron. Obviously, it's really difficult. But there has to be a bigger value proposition to the woman than just like, I'm a guy and I want to date you because I want to be in a relationship. Okay, well, what the fuck are you offering her? What does she get out of it? If you can't answer that, if you don't have questions, if you don't have answers to that, then you're fucked. You're fucking yourself, right? Yeah. Hey man, I'm actually interested in what you think are telltale signs for guys who are clingy/confident. What are 5 or 6 things you see? There are ways to sell. Okay, unironically, when it comes, oh man, let's see. I'm trying to avoid. There are this is where, okay, I'll say this. This is where like a lot of pickup artists like red pill shit is kind of true. I think having a life and having things you're doing that don't revolve around the girl are really important. So for instance, like having a hold on, sorry. Having a if somebody can tell, I wish one day maybe I'll like sit and write down like formally like this is how these things work, because a lot of these are just intuitive. If you understand like social dynamics, a lot of them are just intuitive. But like if a girl can tell that you're like fucking waiting at home for her goddamn message, and you're, hey, what's up? Nothing much. How are you? I'm doing, and you're fucking every moment of your life is like hanging off of her like acceptance, like not good. Okay, and these are things you can feel, but I want to be careful here. Okay, so here's the problem, and this is why it's more complicated than what I'm saying. I don't play games on phones ever. Okay. If a girl that I like is texting me, I'll respond as soon as I see the message. I'm not gonna like, oh, I'll wait like 20 seconds, blah, 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 blah. But like, I have things in my life going. If a girl is like making plans, like sometimes I'll have like, oh, well, I'm doing this on Friday, or like, oh, I've got this going on or whatever. I think that, I don't know. For me, it's easy because I stream, so you can see that I'm busy and I'm traveling and I'm doing things all the time, and that helps. But like, you wanna look like you have a fucking life. You wanna look like things are going on. And if a girl feels like you're literally, she can like summon you into existence by speaking at you, it's not a good thing. That's like one telltale sign of like being clingy / confident, I guess. What's another thing? Getting mad at somebody for not responding to messages, especially in a passive aggressive manner. It's not even, don't even joke about that. You message a girl, good night, she doesn't say anything back, you wait till the next day, and you're like, oh, guess you were busy last night, LOL, because you didn't respond. Don't even joke about that. It's over at that point. At that point, she's already removed you from her fuck list, she's already thrown away the pack of condoms she's bought, and now she's hit up 10 other guys to fuck on Tinder just to get over, trying to think of how fucking desperate your last text message was to her. She's fucking her brother and dad at that point to get you out of her mind because of how horrible that text message was, right? So yeah, clingy, not having anything going on in your life ever and coming across that way that you're desperate on her. The really passive aggressive responses, trying to get like her to respond over and over again. What else? I'm trying to think of other ways I've seen guys fumble the bag. I personally, this is more kind of like sex related. But I think being patient sexually, I think also really helps. If you come off as being like desperate for fucking, I think it pushes somebody away really hardcore. That was really funny because when Tristan talked about juggling multiple women, he gave one of the things like, oh, I might take one girlfriend out for coffee and I won't even ask her back to my place afterwards. And then I'll go back and I'll fuck another girl that night. And he's saying that like, well, in that girl's mind that I took out for coffee, she's thinking, well, why didn't this guy invite me back? And now she's thinking about that like all night. And that's kind of true, that like hang out with a girl and don't proposition for sex, shit like that, because you've got other things going and you're not like so desperately chasing it. But I mean, that's once you've already got to the fucking part, I guess it's kind of like, yeah. But women don't just have 10 guys to fuck unless you meet them on Tinder. I don't know how to help you with this. If you don't talk to women or you've never talked to women, you don't know anything about women, I can't help you with that. I'll tell you this for a fact, and maybe someday in your life you'll learn and grow. Every woman throughout all of history has 50 to 100 guys that they could fuck at any given point in time, always. Now, I know that like Fresh and Fit have poisoned your brain into thinking Instagram has changed the game and Tinder has changed. That's not true. Every woman throughout all of history has been offered dick by every single fucking guy that's ever talked to them, ever. That's just reality. If you think that it's just now, oh my God, women are realizing I can fuck anybody. It's always been like that, bro. It's always been like that. Yeah, I'm sorry. It always has been, but not every woman, basically every woman. Since like about the age of like 10, yeah, you're basically being propositioned for sex constantly by men around you. But
hello, Steven.
Hi, what's up, buddy?
Yeah, so I was going to disagree with you in an earlier point, but you were on your rant and I didn't want to interrupt it. So
what's up?
Keep preaching, King.
Yeah, what's my earlier point you disagree with?
You're telling these guys that getting muscles doesn't matter. Like, you're telling a bunch
Never
of
said that.
like,
no, let me rephrase one more time. Hold on, because you guys only hear what you want to hear, okay? I didn't say getting muscles doesn't matter. What I'm saying is that if you lack a ton of confidence and you're like, I'm going to go to the gym and if I get big, that'll give me confidence to get girls, it's not going to work that way. I don't think so. That's not going to happen. Confidence is like a process where you have to build that in yourself. One part of that might be being disciplined, going to the gym and getting lifting and getting bigger, whatever. That's fine. But it's not. You're not just going to get big and then get confident. There are so many examples of like fat guys that lose weight and have shit. Look at Greek God X is the perfect example of that. Yeah, I don't think it's just like go to the gym, get big, and now you're like confident and charismatic and ready to talk to women and be good. I think it's a way deeper process than that.
Yeah, but I mean, Greek Godex, like, even though he lost weight and stuff, he still looks really gross, right? Like, he doesn't look like he take care of himself that much.
I disagree.
Like,
I think he started to look pretty cute, actually. But regardless of how we think he looks now, he looks way better than when he weighed 400 fucking pounds.
Yeah, for sure. But there's another thing you said earlier about the red pill stuff. When you mentioned that, I think you said that the advice red pillers give you about like your looks, money, and status, that doesn't matter. I think that what you're missing out on is that these guys, I mean, in their weird worldview, whatever the thing they believe in, they see themselves as dating the kind of girl that Andrew Tate dates. They aren't trying to date the average, like the next door neighbor kind of girl. So for them, for that type of girl who's like a top model or something, if you don't have a verified account on Instagram, they don't even notice you, right? That's why Alex, when he was talking to you, he was asking you, how did you get a verified account? Because for those kinds of girls, if you don't have the looks, the money, and the status, they would not even care about you.
Sure, but I mean, like, at that point, it's a matter of adjusting expectations, right? You can't, like, deride all women for having their expectations blown out on social media and then say, I want to date the type of women that Andrew Tate dates, right?
Yeah, for sure. No, I do
but
agree.
I do agree that some of that red pill advice works, but the problem is that, like, it's so rare, right? Like, yeah, if you can become like a millionaire or like shredded as fuck or like some wildly successful something, then yeah, of course, like you can get women that way. But the reality is that like what? Like it's gonna be like 1% of your audience that does this? Like what? Why even bother giving that advice, right? Like, imagine if I did that every day on stream. Like, listen, guys, 1,000 concurrent viewers, and you will never be alone for the rest of your life. You'll be fucking anyone you want. Just 1,000 concurrent viewers, guys. That's all you need. If you get well, yeah, of course, but like, that's like what top 0.001% of streamers. Like, why would I even bother wasting my time saying that?
Yeah, I mean, it's just that the red pill audience is delusional enough to think that they will actually be like Andrew Tate one day. Like in their head, they actually see themselves being like fresh and fit, or So
yeah, I
and
guess,
these guys are just appealing to that audience.
Yeah, the sad thing then is that they're doing the same thing that they're accusing women of doing, which is having their standards destroyed by social media.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I agree on that. But another thing I wanted to bring up about the confidence stuff you talked about, I think that if you're telling guys not to come off as desperate, but I feel like the reason they are desperate is because they don't have that many options. So, because at least for me, when I think of like when I was super desperate, it's when I was only texting maybe one girl like every couple of weeks or so. But when I get to like texting, say 3, 4 girls, there comes a point where you even start forgetting the ones that don't respond to you because you're so busy texting other girls. So don't you think that the advice then would be figure out how to have more girls to message or like more girls to meet up with so you don't end up feeling desperate for one?
Yeah, I guess, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I feel like I don't like that advice as much because it's like if you're talking to a guy that's having trouble getting even one woman interested in him, having him in a situation where he can be talking to like 5 different girls is probably going to be like almost insurmountable, right? But I mean, like I kind of agree with what you're saying, yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's when people like Alex come into play and you go learn from them, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And another like a final point, and I'll head out. But I disagree, I think, with you. Maybe I don't. I have to just ask for a clarification. Do you recommend for your audience to get into relationship rather than hookups?
I think it's good to look for relationships rather than hookups. Yeah, I think looking for hookups is a particular type of thing that is. Hold on. Actually, let me think about this before I just spit an answer out. Is it easier to look for hookups or relationships? I think that relationships are a more natural extension of kind of like humanity, and hookups are a more particular type of game that you play. It's not, when I say game, I don't mean that as a bad way, but like, I think dating should be the goal. And like, yeah, I think dating should be the goal. I think playing the field in terms of hookups is like a way, that's like an accessory skill that would be quite difficult to train. Like there's a lot of guys, let me put it this way, okay? If you're a guy and you can, get a lot of hookups, if you put your mind to it, I imagine you could probably get into a relationship. But there's probably a lot of guys that are like in a good relationship and they're happy with their woman and they're having good lives with her, but they probably couldn't do like the hookup stuff very well. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I mean, I guess I disagree with that, I guess, because I feel like for me, if I'm talking to a dude who's a virgin and he tells me, hey, he wants to be in a committed relationship or whatever, I would tell him to try to get at least, like, get laid with like 10 girls, just like random hookups. Like, understand, because that guy in his head, his idea of a woman is what he sees on Instagram, is what he sees on TV and like in the media. He doesn't really understand like real life, I guess, man to woman interaction. So I would say like just get a bunch of hookups, really understand what you like in a girl in a way that's not shaped by the media, but you actually know like real life women, like how they talk, how they think and stuff like that. And
I mean,
once
like,
you figure that out, then you'll know what you actually like, and then you can settle down.
maybe. I don't know. I think there's pros and cons to everything. I probably learn. I would consider myself, I think, decent at sex, more than decent. Okay, I do pretty well when it comes to like performance. I think. I guess you can talk to girls and figure it out. I think I do pretty well. I would say that I probably learned. I would say I probably learned like 75% of what I know sexually from my first girlfriend. Unironically, it was a girl that I dated for like 3 to 4 years. My first wife. I think I learned most of it from her. If I would have fucked 10 random girls before I was 21, instead of just staying in a relationship with her, I think I would know less sexually. I think that you learn the most through long-term relationships. I think you learn a ton that way, in my opinion. But
I had like a similar experience, but just like a slight difference at the end. The first girl I dated like a bit more long term. I had that experience where like I started experimenting more and I learned more stuff through her. But then afterwards, when I went on like when I had sex with other girls, it's like I tested out the stuff I learned with her and I kind of perfected them every time. And then like, but that's how you. And when I noticed like, oh, this thing I did with this girl also likes it. The other girl also likes it, but this other girl doesn't like it. She like it this way, and then you just kind of tweak it every time. But I don't know. That's just what I
sure,
noticed. It's
yeah,
like
sure.
you learn it at first, and then you practice on different people to get like a bigger sample size, I guess.
Yeah, because something you learn from one person, the next person doesn't necessarily like. Sure, but okay. Anything else?
Yeah. Like a final thing, and I had like a kind of an interesting experience like a few days ago. I just wanted to pass it by you because you have way more experience on that than me. Um, do you ever get the impression that when you're having sex with a girl, the penetration is not the most enjoyable for the girl, it's the most enjoyable for the dude, but for the girl, it's like fingering her and eating her out brings more pleasure? I'm not sure of this. I was thinking of that last time, but I haven't. I only started thinking of it last time. I don't know if it's true.
Okay, this is what I think. Okay, I'm almost positive that this is true. Okay, um, I I think that girls like. Okay, hold on. There's so many weird things that are said online. Okay, people online say that girls don't like fucking. They only like getting eaten out. They really like they like it when you configure them, eat them out, and they don't care about fucking them much. Almost every single girl that I've met gets off more from fingering and oral, but every woman loves fucking. Almost every single woman. There's this weird thing that gets perpetuated online a lot that's like, oh, just learn how to give good head and like women will love you and blah, 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 blah. Even if you give really good head, women absolutely want to fuck because fucking is like a whole body experience that no matter how good you are, and I don't care what you say, no matter how good you are at giving head, a woman is going to want to fuck. Now, that doesn't mean you have to have like a huge dick or any weird shit like that. I'm not saying anything like that. But, like, I think women do like sex. Yeah, I would say that. Oh, and then also you absolutely have to learn how to finger. You cannot just use your mouth. If you're just gonna go down on a girl and just use your mouth, don't even waste your fucking time. Fuck her, get your nut, and leave. If you can't use your fingers, you're not doing anything. Okay, just fucking either learn how to do that or or bounce. But yeah, I think that's generally how I stand on it. I don't know if I answered your question or agreed or disagreed, but.
No, that's a good point. I need to think more about that because last time was the first time I thought of that. What the only issue when you use your fingers is that there comes a point when your wrist hurts quite a bit. Um,
How well, it's like lifting the gym. Your wrist should always be straight. Your wrist
when you're going all in, like max speed, there comes a point when your wrist hurts from like.
So I think the way, and my recommendation is you always use your biggest muscles. I always finger from my shoulder. If you have a woman in bed and you're fingering her and you're just using your wrist, I think your wrist would get hard, or your wrist would hurt really quickly. But if you have your whole arm position and you're doing like this, if you're moving from your shoulder, I think you have a lot more power, and you have a lot more staying power, because you can last a lot longer, because your shoulder's going to get tired a lot. It's going to take a lot longer for that to get tired than if you're just doing the wrist thing. The wrist thing, I could probably have for 10 seconds, then I'm done. But if you're fingering from your shoulder, I think you can go a lot longer, just in my opinion. But
I didn't even think of that till now. Huh. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Oh, also, and then if you want to cheat the finger motion, because that finger motion does feel good. If the girl is either pulled to the edge of the bed, or if you push your hand down into the bed, then you can still use your shoulder, but you're like fingering like up into them, and then you can kind of like curl your fingers a little bit, so you don't have to do that huge like wrist digging motion that will like because you'll destroy your wrist doing that in like 15 seconds. But as long as you finger from the right angle and you're coming from the whatever. Also, most girls can take way more than I think guys think when it comes to fingering. Because when guys finger girls, they're doing this thing. They're trying to be like really gentle. And most girls want you to like, I don't know if you've ever tried to start a lawnmower. I don't know if they have push buttons now, but they want like, you got to be like fucking like going at it, because that's usually what it takes to make them like have a good orgasm, or to squirt if you're trying to do that. But
yeah, that's I never thought of the like the shoulder thing, but I'll try it in a couple of days, and I'll keep you posted on that.
Yeah, keep us posted.
Oh yeah, there's another final part, but you said this earlier, and I completely disagree with you.
Yeah.
You're telling your audience that being dominant or being masculine doesn't matter. Do you really mean it?
I don't think it's enough. I don't think it's enough anymore, because the reality is that like most guys are like okayly masculine. But that what does a woman need in her life from that? Like, what is she getting from that? You're not going to hit like top 1% masculinity where you're like dominating the field. Like, I think you have to offer something a little bit more than just like being somewhat masculine, I think.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's like, I think if you're telling a guy who's already quite masculine that, hey, that's not enough, I agree. But I feel like, I don't know if it's, sorry, it's gonna sound mean, but I just don't know if you're tailoring that advice to the right audience. You know what I mean? Because like, if I think of myself when I was still like a virgin, I was like super insecure. I was talking to girls in a way that very clearly lacked confidence.
Yeah.
I came off very desperate and needy.
I agree
and
with
if
all
you
that.
told me back then, hey, being masculine isn't good, it would not help me at all.
Yeah, I guess it depends on what. I guess it depends on if you consider confidence masculine. I would say I'm always telling people to be masculine. Then, if you consider confidence masculine, but I would consider it a little bit different. I started thinking about this a lot, especially because in a lot of red pill chats and shit, like a lot of people dog me for being bisexual, and it's like, oh, like women don't like that Donovan fucking loser guy's like, oh, your woman doesn't even like fucking you because you're bi, blah blah blah. And I started to think historically, like I feel like when you look at a lot of the guys that were like the rock and pop stars from the 60s and 70s and 80s, these were not like masculine, manly men. Like, I don't know, I don't know, would it be controversial in chat for me to say that like Michael Jackson was pretty effeminate? Do you think that's a controversial thing? He was dancing.
No, he was very effeminate.
Yeah, and
like very effeminate.
Dude, this guy, everybody wanted to fuck Michael Jackson. He's fucking Michael Jackson, right? And then like David Bowie and fucking, I'm pretty sure that guy hooked up with fucking Mick Jagger. You've got like Kiss, all these people. Like, I feel like you have like Prince, you have all these pop stars, all these rock stars that are wearing makeup, fucking dudes doing all this crazy shit. And it doesn't seem like, and these guys could have fucked anyone on the planet. And they weren't selling like hyper masculinity at all. So it seems weird to make that the focal point, in my opinion, I think.
Think of like most women you've had sex with. Aren't most of them like submissive in bed?
Yeah, I think women do tend that way. Yes, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Doesn't that mean then like if a girl who's like really submissive in bed is probably gonna look for a guy who's a lot more aggressive, not abusive, but like not like in like aggressive as in more like assertive, more like who takes the lead, who puts her in her place sexually speaking.
This is complicated, and I've thought about this, and here's my feeling on it. I have no way to prove or validate this. Outside of the bedroom, most people gravitate towards leaders, men and women. The red pill pushes this false idea that men are natural leaders and women are natural followers. I don't think that's true. I think that very, very, very few people in life are destined for leadership, And when you find a strong leader, everybody wants to follow them, men and women included. So that's one part that I understand, and I'm putting that to the side. When it comes to bedroom stuff, here's what I wonder. I feel like people like it when somebody's there to take charge because they feel like, okay, this guy knows what he wants. He knows what to do with me. That's hot. I can be here for that, et cetera, et cetera. I feel like in my mind, and again, I have no way of proving this, I feel like men would gravitate towards that. Or like if a dominant woman is like, okay, I'm going to tell you what to do, I'm going to do that. I feel like men would gravitate towards that, but I think they don't, not because they wouldn't like it sexually, but because I think it would challenge their security if a woman were to do that. So I think that for men, they feel like they have to be dominant, not because they actually sexually enjoy it, but they feel like they need to because that's their role, and if they don't, they're gonna be like insecure about it. But I can't prove that. I could be truly wrong on that. I have no way to test it. I'm not sure. Yeah. But like I read so many weird posts about like I read so many weird posts about like a guy like, oh, like my girlfriend pegged me or fingered me or put in a butt plug, and after she did that, like I couldn't look at her the same ever, or the girl's like, my boyfriend won't even talk to me anymore, and I'm like, damn, that's like a lot of insecurity. Like it just screams insecurity to me. But again, like I can't really know that. It's hard. That's a total guess in my mind, you know.
My experience with like, because even I've talked to like very feminist women who've told me how like when they were either like, in a concert, they were in public or something, and their boyfriend got into a fight with another dude, and they thought that looked really hot when that happened. Like maybe it was like a dude who tried to grope them or something, and the boyfriend just started beating the guy up, and they were like, yeah, they thought that looked really hot, and so. But obviously, it's super anecdotal. I don't know. Like, but
So-
I'm not going to see data on this. But
yeah. So again, this is going to be hard because I can only go by anecdote or whatever. I agree that if you are out somewhere and you see a man getting into a fight with somebody, I think that is really attractive. Here's what I think is happening though. I think that women really like to see men get passionate about something. I think that's the biggest turn on in the world for a lot of women. This is going to sound goofy to some people, I guess, believe it or not. But like, I have a lot of women tell me that like when I go off on somebody on stream or when I do really well in a debate, that's like really exciting for them. And when I ask like why, like what is it or whatever, the response that I get from women a lot is that like if a guy is super into something and he's really passionate and he's like really going at it, that like for women they really like to see that type of like passion or desire or drive in a man. So it might come out in terms of like fighting somebody. It might come out in terms of being really passionate about some type of like hobby or thing. But like a man that has like a passion or a drive at something and might be good at it even is something that women are really drawn to. It's like a really good thing to have, yeah. But because it can be, yeah. So, because I know some people look at the fighting thing like, oh, see, they want like protectors and fighters and warriors and blah, blah, blah. But I think it's just a matter of like a guy feels like really strongly about something. He's willing to be passionate and defend it. That's like a really, like it's a nice thing to view. Like women really like that, I think, yeah.
yeah, because I don't know. It's hard to say because I've hooked up with girls who are like again like not tried con people but like super like feminist women who told me that like the fact that I'm more buff than the average guy, whenever they are with me they feel a level of safety because like they, even though I'm not fighting anyone, I'm a coward in real life. If someone tries to attack me, I'm running away. But just the fact, that feeling that they get from the possibility that I would defend them if something happened, that they found to be kind of hot.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, I'm not gonna say that it's like nothing for women. I just think that I think people tend to overrate it a bit. It's kind of like a lot of people look at the OkCupid stuff and like how many men rate women attractive versus how many women rate men attractive. And I think they miss two crucial pieces of information. One is that on average, women probably are more attractive because they put a lot more effort into looking good than men do in general. But two, even if men tend to rate women's looks very high and women tend to rate men's looks kind of like average to low, women don't rate looks as importantly when it comes to dating somebody as men do. So like a woman might say like, oh yeah, like this guy, he's like kind of like average looking or whatever. But like to that particular woman, she might be like, but this is like my guy. Like I love this guy. He's like super cute when he smiles. I like to feel his belly pressed against me when we're like cuddling in bed. I really like the way that like he's got, like a hairy back. Like women will start to like and appreciate things about you that aren't like a conventional like, oh my God, he's like fucking Jason Bourne, James Bond, fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like they don't like, they're not as obsessed with the like aesthetically perfect male. Although red pillars and black pillars will never believe that, but
yeah, I was gonna say because that's like the big drama between like I guess a big beef between red pill and black pill on one side and the pickup artists on the other side. The pickup artists will basically say what she said, while the red pill and the black pill guys will say like, no, you're not taking into account that a dude who's like a super obese, super like acne faced kind of guy, like that guy, no amount of charisma is gonna like,
Yeah,
is gonna
probably, but
fix it.
like
Or someone who's
yeah.
like physically disabled or something.
Sure, yeah. And I mean, I'll say that, like, if you're gonna give me like guys that have been like fucking battery acid attacked, then yeah, of course I'm gonna say these guys are, definitely playing from behind. But yeah, I think
I shouldn't have
men
giggled. I was just thinking of that, but it's not appropriate. There's nothing wrong with someone. I apologize for giggling. I didn't mean to
oh sure,
be insensitive.
you're fine. But yeah, I think men think that women think about looks as much as they do, and I just don't think in general that's true. I think women are quite a bit more lenient when it comes on looks related stuff. That's why, like, generally when it comes publicly, I mean, just look at the difference between how men and women present themselves, right? Women like get like. If women cared about looks as much as men do, I'll believe that when like every man starts like wearing makeup and like getting plastic surgery and shit. But they don't, right? That, like it's way more common on the women's side because I think men tend to judge way more harshly on appearance than women do.
Yeah, the black pill side will argue that no, like men should look smacks and they'll encourage doing surgery and stuff like that depending on how you look. But that's just weird people. But yeah, no, I agree mostly with you. I think
I had a
women have like a looks threshold. So long as you pass it, you're okay.
Yeah, I had a guy on my subreddit. It was really fucking funny. But I don't remember what we were talking about. He either agreed or discounted, but he made a post. He's like, yeah, like everybody should try to like looks max basically. Like you should looks max as hard as you can. Like it's good, blah, blah, blah. And he made a post. We're like, oh wow, like you look really good. Like what would you suggest doing? Like, how do you look good? And I didn't realize it. But then the guy's like, well, first I got like a jaw chisel surgery. He had like a ton of like work done on his face to look the way that he did. I was like, holy shit. But yeah, Jesus.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys remember that post on my subreddit. That was pretty good times.
Like Carla talked to this guy who's like he he's 5'11", but he felt like the black pill told him he's so short he'll never get girls. So he went to South America to get a surgery to like a limb
Lengthen your femur or some
lengthening
shit.
surgery.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now that guy will never be able to deadlift or squat again.
But
He's
hey,
currently
that
on a
sounds like a
wheelchair
good
for
gym,
like a year.
good gym day every day. You go to the gym, it's like, why don't you never work on legs, dude? Bro, my legs are broken. Sorry. That just sounds like a W to me. Yeah, but no, I know what you mean. Yeah, it's pretty sad when people go down those types of roads. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about. Have a good rest of your stream, man.
Yeah, have fun. Be careful, buddy.
Alright, take care.
If lack of opportunities changes the issue, maybe people should consider doing community college classes. Okay, fuck. I have like there's a catch for all of these, okay? And this is always the problem. I've given this advice before, and I'm actually not sure how I feel about it. Fuck, it's so hard. This is kind of like well, in order to do this thing, you just need to have always done this thing. And if you haven't, you're fucked. When people give the advice, if you want to meet girls, you need to like go do a college class, you need to go do this or whatever, then like, that's kind of good advice. But if you go to those places specifically looking for a girl, then you're gonna like, I think you're gonna come off as creepy and it's not gonna work. So like, let's say for instance, you go to community college or some shit and you're like, okay, I'm going here to find a girlfriend, and you start like hitting up every girl and you're chatting with them, and it's obvious you're just there to like shop for a girlfriend. I don't think it's gonna work that much for you. I think you're gonna run into problems. But then it sounds like I'm saying that basically the problem is I'm telling you that like, yeah, you basically have to do this, and the only way to do this is if you've already been doing this, and if you haven't been doing it, then you can't. You're like, fuck. I don't know. Destiny, do you acknowledge that 90% of the women who like you for your money and clout only, and they actually find you ugly? No, I don't think so. I think I guessed it by the internet. I think I actually look okay. I think I look pretty okay. I think I'm fine. I think I really like you with my hair. I think I have a decent face. I think I actually have an okay body. I'm not like super obese or anything. No, I disagree. If you look at me and you're like, oh fuck, like Destiny's a fucking hideous fuck, I think your beauty standards and everything in terms of like what like an average guy looks like, I think are super fucked. Yeah. Also, I think if you're looking for women that are only looking to fuck via clout, I'd probably only be fucking smaller streamers. Also, listen, if you're a woman and you want to fuck me for clout, my DMs are open, okay? If you're looking for a host, if you're looking for a collab, okay, hit me up on Instagram, instagram.com/Destiny, okay? I'm all about that clout fucking. But the problem is you can't really fuck me for clout because you don't really go much farther than me, right? You're not gonna like jump from me to Hassan or some shit. And also, my community is pretty brutal, so it's not gonna work out too well. But hey, if you want to try, knock yourself out.
forward to you. I have.
Honestly, if you're a woman and you're trying to get clout from me, usually the best way to do it would usually be to say something really fucking stupid on Twitter or in my chat, and then we argue. That's usually the best way to farm clout off me. But
so my main.
You just wanted to
stop interrupting me. Stop interrupting me.
Stop
interrupting me.
You spent an hour and 45 minutes. You spent an hour.
Stop interrupting me. Stop interrupting me.
You spent an hour.
Stop interrupting me.
You spent an hour and 45. You spent an hour and 45 minutes. I will stop you speaking. You spent an hour. You spent an hour and 45 minutes. You spent an hour and 45 minutes just to say the Earth is flat.
No, we've forward to you. I have.
okay. So he's finally gone mask off and just unilaterally blame men for essentially everything in the relationship space. Unironically saying the reason women that are hot only think is because men are shit is because I guess he talks to someone. Why do you guys think this shit? I'm not blaming anybody. The thing is that like the funny thing is whoever you are, this guy would agree with me 100% if I phrase it every way. Sorry, let me put my red pill hat on and let me say the exact same thing, but let me say it in a way that makes you feel better about yourself, okay? Over the past 30 years, we have engaged in so much affirmative action. We have taken women from being basically lesser than men to elevating them above men. Feminism is not about gender equality, it's about female domination. It's why women are graduating 60-40 to men. It's why women have role models scattered across the political sphere now, scattered across the media sphere, scattered across every single area of society, while men are constantly being attacked and shit on in real life, right? So what's happening after 20 or 30 years of this type of behavior? Women are now working jobs, men are still killing themselves at record rates, women are still doing decently in family courts and all this shit, and they're being built up in every single part of the system, and men are just getting left behind, right? If I say it like that, you're like, oh yeah, preach, Steven, yeah, preach. But then if I add like the obvious if I add the obvious next point is that like women have leveled up a ton and men are just like kind of shit right now, then it's like, oh no, that's not fair. Well, no, what do you mean? We're saying the same thing, just in different words, right? Men are kind of shit right now. I'm not blaming men for it. If anything, I'm blaming society for it, which was ran by men. But if anything, like, yeah, I'm blaming society for it because society spent a lot of time building up women in huge ways, and they've done a really good job at it. They have. They've done a phenomenal job at giving women access to the workplace, excelling in college, and reproductive rights, right? And that's helped women elevate their shit a ton. And men haven't really elevated their shit at all. They still expect to work a job and get a woman. It's not enough anymore. I'm not blaming men for that or even shitting on men. I guess if you see it the way, that's fine. But like, here's a couple of realities that like the red pill people, I don't know if they'll tell you this or not. Here's a couple of realities. Women are not getting rid of birth control. That's not going to happen, okay? So fucking a woman doesn't guarantee that you're going to get pregnant anymore. So that's one. And two, women aren't going to stop working. They're not, like, they just don't want to. That life sucks, by the way. The traditional female life sucks. And to think otherwise is a cope, okay? Women like to have their freedom. They like to be able to travel. They like to be able to do things. I'm not saying that they don't like families. People like families too. A lot of women hit 30 and like, oh, fuck, I think I do want kids, right? That happens too. But women like generally enjoy the freedom and everything. That's fun too. So if those two things are true, if women have reproductive rights and if women are working, you're going to have to find a way if you want to succeed. You can do one of two things. You can either brood and cry in a corner all day long, or you can go take up classes, learn how to use an and go Elliot some people, or you can figure out, okay, well, women are doing all these things now. I used to be able to do that and get a woman, and now I can't just work a job anymore because me having a paycheck is enough. I need to find some other way to add value to a woman's life so that she'll date me, right? Those are the only three directions that you can choose, okay? Choose wisely, modern man. That's all you can do. Also said that the average man has nothing to offer for the average woman. But something I've been thinking about for a while. Every time he speaks about issues women have, he goes like, women have to deal with X, they have to deal with Y, they have to deal with Z from men. And when he talks about issues men face, he says men have to deal with X, they have to deal with Y, and they have to deal with Z from women because men. He always, when talking about the issues men and women have, blame men for the reason of the problem. He's the opposite of the red pill, but just a reaction. I don't know what to say. Like, I'll say it again for the 50 millionth time. Like, I'm not blaming men, I'm not blaming women. There's always two sides to like every thing. I don't know how else to say it, but you only want to hear one side. You just want me to be Pearl for you, right? You always want me to be Pearl for you. It's women are to blame, and I guess blame them over and over again. But like, I don't know what you want. I don't know what you want me to say, right? I don't know. Yeah. If women are becoming more masculine, how the f do you substantiate that when women date down on a significantly lower rate than men? Because women don't need to date for something. That's the difference, right? It sucks, but the old saying of like, I don't need no man, for a lot of women is kind of true, right? Like, men do need women to date them because they want sex if you're going to be shallow on it, but a woman doesn't have to date a man to get sex. She can hook up with a dude on Tinder and then go hang out with her friends and like have a really good time with her friends and do that shit constantly. She gets a ton of fulfillment from all these other areas of her life. And if you're a man, you're just like locked in your room on Discord all day, I guess, or cranking out reps at the gym. But Yeah, I don't know. Like, figure it out. We'll figure it out. I'll think about it more, okay? I'll try to think about it more. I just don't know. I thought about... I need to find a person to organize this because I'm not going to. I thought about doing like a big Yi versus Pepe thing. I don't know how we would track it, but I think it would be really fun. I'm inspired by SNEAKO's story. So SNEAKO always says, go work out or go do some shit instead of being sucked in the Matrix or whatever. And then he has like guys posting gym videos and shit, which you can say it's corny or cheesy or whatever, but I think it's kind of cool. I think it's cute. It'd be interesting to do like a steps challenge or like a weight loss challenge with like Yi versus Pepe. We have like spreadsheets tracking like Yi players and Pepe players or whatever, and then you just track like miles walked or like weight lost or whatever. Because it's a competitive thing, it's a fun thing, it's a community thing, and it's a way to get people to start like tracking certain metrics to like improve their lives. But I don't really do like self-improvement much. I know that I've been doing like the whole red pill arc because it's fun to argue with them, but I'm not like, I don't see myself as like a self-improvement streamer. It's just not something I'm that interested in talking about. But I mean, like, it would probably be good for the community. Yeah, I don't know. Pepe posters are jacked already, not fair. It's unfair. Pepe posters are all fat fucks who have more to lose. Destiny, you talk so much about what men need to do and how shit we are. Just curious, what would you say women need to do? So I'll come off as biased here, but I think women have done a lot. But it's because society has helped them do a lot. Society said, we're gonna make women figure out how to fucking do college. And they did it exceedingly well. And now women do that. And they're like, okay, we're gonna make women figure out how to fucking work jobs. And they do it now exceedingly well. And they haven't really done the same for like, we're gonna help men do something. Because men kind of like ran all this shit before, right? So women have grown up with the whole feminization thing intact. They've learned all the shit they need to do to be women and to do all the things to be women or whatever. But now they've like, society's pushed them in that masculine direction too. And they've learned all the masculine things. But that same push hasn't happened for men. Because men were the predominant power holders before. And we still carry that in our minds that men are superior, men are superior, men are superior. Even the feminists think that, whether they know it or not, that they're unwilling to say like, okay, we need to spend some time now building men up. We need to do something to help men figure their shit out. And society hasn't done that, so men haven't done that in general yet. I don't know. I don't even know what that push would look like. I've had some people email me. I've had one person email me and tell me that like the thought of even talking to a school administration, or like, hey, maybe we need some accelerated programs to help men back in school because women are crushing men in school, and that trend is continuing in that direction, and you wouldn't even be able to have that conversation in a lot of school administrative rooms because it would just be suicide. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Women have leveled up a ton over the past like 30 or 40 years, and I don't know. It seems like society hasn't been interested in pushing men a lot, but I think in a lot of the ways, you're never going to be able to convince the red pillars that men need to accept more feminine traits. It plays way too hard on the feminization of men talking about. Yeah, I know, but that's because like but it backs up all of my arguments too. Fuck, there's like 30 things just pop my head. Okay, the reason why this argument is so dog shit is because people will say like, oh, you don't want to feminize men, femininity is bad. And it's like, okay, well, hold on, I mean femininity is bad. Here's the problem that I have, okay? Masculine traits are all good and awesome and cool. Everybody wants the masculine traits. They're the best traits, right? Masculine traits are like strong, defender, protector, provider for my family, confidence, leader, powerful, influential. These are like masculine traits. And feminine traits are like breastfeeds, soft skin. And also catty, bitchy, overly emotional, weak-willed, follower, right? It's all the shitty traits, right? So obviously, women want to be masculine because they're like, these are the best traits. All of these traits are awesome. They're the coolest things to have, which is true. They shouldn't even be called masculine and feminine traits. And then when men think of femininity, it's just like, well, fuck, what does it mean to be a feminine man? You're gay, get fucked in the ass, you're emotional, you cry all the time, you're catty, snaky, backstabber. It's like, I don't want to be feminine. Those are the worst things ever. And it's like, well, yeah, if you think of it that way, then of course you are. But then it's funny too on the flip side. I always forget what I say privately versus publicly. N-word. No, I'm just kidding. I think that the thing that frustrates me is sometimes red pillars will talk about how certain things, like here's this one that comes on over and over and over again. And we saw Max do this. I know this works from personal experience, right? You see them say things like being emotional is really bad. If you're emotional as a man, women will get turned off immediately from that. If you're ever emotional, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, bro, being emotional is one of the most effective ways to manipulate a woman or anybody. It is it's one of the most effective ways to gaslight somebody. It's one of the most effective ways to get over something, right? Did you cheat on me, babe? I saw that woman that you were with yesterday. What the fuck's going on? I'm going through a hard time. She looks like my mom. I don't know. Dude, you can fucking cry and lie your way out of so much shit and be emotionally manipulative like a motherfucker. It is the easiest way to gaslight somebody is when you appear emotionally dysregulated. And if you're like an abusive person, you know that. So it's so funny that on like the abuser side, these people know like, yeah, am I emotional and vulnerable? That bitch thinks I am. That's how I fuck her mind that way, right? I use the tears to get in the back door and destroy her fucking soul. And then meanwhile, red pillars saying like, oh yeah, if you're ever emotional, like a girl will leave you. Like, bro, emotionality is one of the ways you get people the most fucked up, like spiritually. So I don't know, dude, but I don't know how to, because it's, so circling back, I agree with you that telling a man to be more feminine sounds shitty, but it's because we say that feminine traits are all shitty. And it's like, well, of course men aren't gonna wanna be more feminine. But like, in reality, femininity probably just means like having like better emotional control in general. Emotional control, right? I just went through 3 months of red pillars saying like women are more emotional than men. And then in the past 2 weeks, I've had like 3 different people threaten to kill me because of a misinterpreted comment about some dude's mom who's been dead for 6 months, right? Come on, are you fucking serious? It's just like, it's all so silly. But also, I don't care. Do your shit. More women for me, okay? If it's... Okay, why is being artistic seen as feminine? I have no idea. When I hear masculine traits, I just think about trait that make you an adult, and it seems like women are better at being adults than men, surprisingly. Yeah, that's another dumb thing too. Oh, I think I've asked that now on 2 panels. I think I've said that to Fresh and Fit and Pearl. I feel like I didn't get good answers either time. We're like, what's the difference between what you're describing? Because like, you're like, what do you guys want from a woman? I want a woman that is trainable, that obeys me, that takes care of the house. It sounds like you want like a 12-year-old that does chores, right? That's what it feels like to me. What is a good feminine man in your opinion? I don't know. I thought about this more because I'm thinking like I should have role models, right? That's probably important to pick out. But then I realized there's an acceptable answer. I don't know many male role models because I'm a fucking man. I'm 34 years old. I don't mean like I'm a man, like, but I'm like, I'm 34. I don't have role models. I'm an adult, okay? If I was like 15, maybe I'd have, because I had like all my little JRPG and anime people that were like, oh, I guess these are my role models growing up because I watch cartoons and I watch TV shows and I play video games. But now that I'm an adult, like I'm not trying to model myself after anyone. I don't know what fucking man I look up to for any shit. Jordan Peterson. Oh, fuck. I was going to ask one question. Okay, we're going back. Where does Jordan Peterson get his suits? He has some banger fucking outfits. I don't care what you guys say. Does anybody have a link to this suit? This is a banger fucking suit. Fuck, where is it? This is a banger fucking outfit. I like that. I don't know how I feel about the tie and socks. I guess I kind of match, maybe. This is a sick ass fucking, I like this. Hell yes. He has some crazy wild fucking outfits. I love them. He's the new bling, okay? Fire and ice, heaven and hell. Oh, LGFG. Here's JP's tweet about it.
I should tell you about my suit first. Maybe you care about that. Maybe you don't. The first thing you need to know is these are tiny Elon Musk heads. And this is a Twitter suit. In the lining here, there's a bunch of comments from Twitter about another suit this company made for me. This company is LGFG. And they came to me a couple of months ago and asked me if I wanted them to make me some suits. One for each of the rules from 12 Rules for Life.
The 12 Rules for Life, the Twitter shit is corny, but the colors are nice. And what do we have? What do we have going on here? Is it like So we got the white shirt, we've got a jacket, we've got, is there another thing, like a vest or something underneath? The tie color is good. This is a sick fucking outfit, okay? This is a sick outfit. I like it.
Tiny Elon Musk heads.
God, yes. It's a 3-piece? Oh shit, I don't even know what those are. I need to look into that. Okay, anyway. Come on, Destiny. Let's get off the Jordan Peterson worship. Let's get back to the coping. I much prefer to watch you down spiral with cope after that big ol' L you just took. Okay.
Is you note.
Oh my God. And he's got like the fucking the weird shoes too.
When I first say this to my.
Oh my God. He's just balling hard.
My students, I start, the brain is this massively recursive system for reducing surprise. A lot of them will say, but I like surprises. And you go, yeah, that's right. And so then you start to get this question about, well, you want.
3 pieces equals pants, jacket, and vest. Gotcha. How do you speak about this topic for 1 hour and not talk about children and family structure? Is a whole dating question just a hedonic exercise in your mind? What do you call leveling up? It's reducing the amount of women. Would you be happy if every woman in the West became a girl boss at the cost of having 0.6 kids on average? I'm just going to tell you this. I don't know what to say. Focusing on birth rates is cringe as fuck. I think that's probably the most effective way to dry up every woman in like a 25-mile radius. If you're worried that your friend's about to fuck the hottest girl ever and you want to sabotage his night, just walk by the girl and just whisper into the air, birth rates, and she'll instantly dry up. It is so fucking cringe. Nobody cares, bro. You don't even care. Shut the fuck off with that. Birth rates, birth rates, birth rates, birth rates, How many kids do you have? I have more kids than you, okay? I'm working in the world. I got at least one that I know of. It's just cringe. Don't. Birth rates are like things that you fix through other things. You don't fix them by focusing on them. And we don't even know if we can fix birth rates because people tend to just not want to have kids when they live in more safer and industrialized countries. So, but yeah, don't just that fixation on like birth rates. It's like so cringe.